everyone, I am here to do a 16-month update on my 2-level artificial disc replacement. So some of you have been watching my videos and have written with questions, and I thought I would use this very hot day after working out to update you all and answer some questions you had. So you'll see me glancing over here to my cheat sheet because I wrote down the questions. But just for those of you who maybe are stumbling on this video in particular, I had a 2-level artificial disc replacement at C5-6 and C6-7, and it has been 16 months now. My operation for my neck was in February of 2018, but before that, in October of 2017, I had slap repair and bicep tendon anchored back in as well in October of 2017. So just a quick review of my history was that I thought a lot of the weakness I was having on my left side and pain was due to that slap tear. So I went ahead and rehabbed it for months, many times before opting for surgery. And finally, the pain was so bad, in particular in my tricep, that I went ahead and had surgery. All along, it ended up being my neck. We didn't find that out until January of 2018 after a physical therapist pointed out to me that he thought something bigger was the problem and it wasn't stemming from my shoulder. So we found out that my neck was kind of a mess. You can go back and watch my other videos to see my x-rays and MRI stuff, but had the surgery pretty much right away in February of 2018, and it is currently the summer, June, almost July of 2019. So I'm 16 months post-op. So we will get right to it. Let's see. All right, so one of the questions I get is if I've returned 100%. I think that question just kind of depends on how you view it. I think that, you know, as you age, in particular, I'm going to be 39 this year, your 100% changes anyway a little bit, and especially according to your stage of life. So if you ask me if I feel I'm back 100%, I think that the things that hold me back from that are not necessarily my neck. I think that I have some lingering back issues in my lumbar region that are holding me back, and I think that just my time as a busy mom and gym owner hold me back. But I would not say that my disc replacement has been a reason that I have not returned to 100% of where I was previously. On that note, some of you asked if I still compete, and I do now and then. I did Granite again this year on a team of 4, and that was really fun. I encountered a lot of things that you may think are scary now, such as snatching. There was a heavy snatch ladder and then handstand push-ups. The snatch, I was able to I got 165 there, and that was okay. My previous PR was only 170 anyway, so I've never had like some crazy 200-pound snatch. But when I did snatch, it wasn't painful in any way, and my neck was not bothering me. If anything, my shoulder, the tightness of the hat surgery and some of that scar tissue bothers me, but it's not my neck. Handstand push-ups are still a struggle for me, but I think they always kind of will be. They're not painful when I go upside down, but I do feel pressure and things feel a little bit different, I guess you could say. I don't train a lot of kipping. I train a lot of strict, and one reason that I fatigue so quickly when I do handstand push-ups is because, as you know, if you do any tempo work, controlling the downward portion of any movement is really hard doing negatives. So I controlled it down a little bit more than I would want to. There's no rebounding out of the bottom of a handstand push-up for me because it's just not worth it and way too dangerous. So with that said, they are a little bit harder just because I fatigue more, just because I really like to control the downward portion. I would encourage you to do the same. I think taking a hit in one workout or whatever it's gonna be is never like worth the damage that you could potentially do to your neck by slamming your skull into the ground. Train how I want was the other question. Can I train how I want? Again, I think the things that are preventing me from doing that are my back and sorry, you guys are good for a little bit, right? Okay, you're fine. You guys can talk. But my back and my thigh. I think my neck is not the thing that's holding me back right now, and that's a whole nother thing going on right now. So, are there any movements I can't do? And we're just going to keep it limited to my neck. Handstand push-ups, rebounding out of the bottom, as I mentioned. I would not do heavy overhead movements every day. Also, if I can choose, I prefer to use dumbbells versus like the barbell, only because with the bar you have to do, your neck needs to go back and forth a lot more, and with a dumbbell you can keep a more neutral head position so that you're not having that constant movement of your spine. But I can do all those. The other thing is, if you do any behind the neck snatch grip pressing, that can sometimes feel a little awkward if you work up heavy, particularly bringing it down. So I don't like to go very heavy on any snatch balances or behind the neck snatch grip push presses, just because of the impact bringing those down for multiple reps. So if anything, I'll drop them and then just clean it. If it gets really heavy, I'll have somebody else clean it for me, and then just retake it out of the rack. I have worked back up to heavy overhead squats, like talking about like 215, 220 overhead squat range. So that hasn't been a problem on my neck, but I don't do it a lot. So maybe I worked up over 200 pounds overhead squat maybe 3 times in the past, I don't know, 9 months. Cycling a barbell? How soon could I cycle a barbell after surgery? Oh man, I think you're okay. I just think you have to stay light with your weights, and of course you have an incision here, and this is where the damage is. So, any type of cycling you do, you don't want to impact yourself or do anything aggressive there. But I remember doing like an empty barbell and doing like hang cleans and stuff, just power hang cleans, or I should say hang power cleans, sorry, with an empty bar quite early on. So I can't remember exactly how to answer that one. My strength sessions, do I ever work up to like a max effort 2 RM or 3 RM? And the answer is yes. I do that in everything. So overhead, legs, the only thing I have not done that with is deadlifts, because I'm dealing with lumbar issues, and it's just not worth the stress on my lower body right now. Do I feel like I can still set goals and chase PRs? And I would say the answer to that is yes. My strict press is back up where it used to be, and I'm very, very close to PRing that, so I feel like that's going to happen. That'll be a lifetime PR for me. So my 1 rep max strict press used to be 140, and I feel like 145, 150 on my strict press is right around the corner. And of course I'm dealing with this lap tear too, so keeping that in mind, it takes me a little bit longer on everything just because of my shoulder. Am I nervous about damaging my adjacent disc? This also goes to another comment. Somebody said that she had a disc replacement 14 years ago or what now, and now she's having to have them removed, and she seemed a little upset or just kind of like frustrated at where she is at in her life with that. I think when you measure your risk reward, or you think about, if you're nervous about damaging the adjacent disc, I think that you have a lot of life you have to live now, and you have to kind of weigh that and balance that with the risk of what I do now, how is that going to affect me later, but also the reward of not going or working hard for your dreams and your goals and what you believe in. How does that affect your mental state, and also just where you are in this moment. So I always live that none of us are guaranteed tomorrow, but that doesn't mean I'm going to live a reckless life and completely abandon proper training methods and just live for this exact moment. But at the same point, I'm not going to always walk lightly on eggshells worrying about what the future holds. So I train properly. I train by paying attention to my body. I train with good nutrition. I train with good recovery and all of those things. And then I try to balance that with what I can do and how far I can push myself in that moment. The actual risk and reward balance is going to be, kind of up to you. But, if you have to have your disc replaced 14 years from now, for me personally, so be it. I just feel like I would rather be where I'm at now, and not in any pain, and have had that surgery done and feeling strong and healthy and my neck's feeling good, than have waited, you know, all those years, or having the disc replacement done and just always constantly worrying about what I was going to do to myself. All right, last two questions are, do I feel different overall? Like, can I feel the disc in my neck? No, I can't like tell the discs are there per se, but I can tell by my range of motion, left to right. I can't, you know, turn my head left to right as far as I would like to, and it just feels like it's blocked a little bit more. And my body just kind of tells me when I'm at my end range of motion. It's not very painful, but I could tell if I kept pushing it, it might be uncomfortable. So I can tell you there. The other thing is my neck muscles, after I do like a lot of overhead work, my traps and neck, they just tighten up a little bit more. So then I feel a little bit more pressure in my neck. That would be a signal for me that I need to take a couple of days off from overhead work, and then also probably see my massage therapist to get things back loosened up. I just think those muscles naturally kind of tighten because they're very aware that damage has been done there previously and that things might be a little different, but I'm never in pain. It's just I can tell that my neck is hypersensitive to if it's been overworked or not. And that leads to the last thing, to make sure that you're keeping your neck from having that tightness. You're gonna wanna make sure, like, what is your posture like during the times you're not at the gym? You know, everything from like doing your dishes to vacuuming, to sitting at your kitchen table, to sitting at your desk, over the phone, which you're probably doing now as you watch this, or your computer. Like, how are you sitting? And then also sleeping, making sure that, you know, you sleep in a good position, and that your neck is neutral most of the night. So also reevaluating, like, what can I do outside of the gym to have a good posture and encourage my head kind of over the center of my body versus head forward position. And the last one was, many of you wrote saying that the videos made you feel like hopeful because you've worked really hard for where you are at in your fitness. Some of you have had weight loss, some of you compete in other sports, some of you are just recreational fitnessers and just want to, you know, keep doing what you're doing. And I want to again encourage you that I hope you find the video helpful and hopeful for you and your situation, that everybody's surgery will go a little bit different, but I don't think this is any kind of a stationary sentence where you're going to be couch ridden for any reason for the rest of your life. There's a lot to be hopeful for, and I hope that that inspires you to do that. If you have any more comments or questions, you can always leave them below and I will try to keep up and answer them for you.